A major winter storm has just shifted south overnight, and what we're seeing right now is unlike anything forecasters expected just 24 hours ago. The danger zone has expanded. If you live anywhere from Texas to the Carolinas, what I am about to show you in the next 5 minutes could save your life and protect your family. Here's what changed while you were sleeping. The storm track moved 200 miles south. That means millions more people are now in the direct path of what could be the most crippling ice storm in a decade. And here's the critical part most people don't understand. The South doesn't have the infrastructure to handle this. No salt trucks, no plows on standby. When ice hits, you on your own until it melts naturally. But it gets worse. Right behind this ice storm, temperatures are plunging into the teens. Some areas will see wind chills drop below zero. In 30 seconds, I'll reveal which states are facing the highest risk of multi-day power outages and why you need to act today, not tomorrow. The Weather Prediction Center has just updated their maps, and the expansion is startling. That light blue area, that is snow. The purple zones, that's a dangerous mix. But pay attention to the pink and peach colors spreading across your screen. That's freezing rain and ice accumulation. This is the silent killer of winter storms. Friday into Saturday, this system intensifies. By Saturday afternoon, we are looking at 60 to 70% probability of minor to moderate impacts across a massive corridor. But here's what the models didn't predict yesterday. The impact zone has pushed significantly further south into Tennessee and Kentucky. Let me be crystal clear about something. When meteorologists use the term minor impacts for ice storms in the South, that's misleading. Even a quarter inch of ice can snap power lines. A half inch can bring down trees. 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch, that's catastrophic. That's what we're potentially looking at, and I'll show you exactly where in just a moment. Saturday evening into Sunday morning represents the peak danger period. The storm shifts toward the mid-Atlantic, bringing heavy impacts to North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, and the Delmarva Peninsula. The Tennessee Valley and Kentucky are right in the bullseye. But remember what I said about temperature? Here's where it becomes a crisis. Temperatures behind this system are trending colder than yesterday's models showed. We're talking -5 degrees Fahrenheit in some areas. This Arctic blast is so powerful, it'll be felt all the way to the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. Think about that geography for a second. When cold air reaches that far south, you know something extraordinary is happening. The GFS model, which updated this morning, paints an even more alarming picture. Friday evening, the precipitation shield meets the freezing temperatures right over Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Overnight Friday into Saturday morning, the signal strengthens dramatically. Northern Louisiana, Mississippi, get ready. This could be your worst ice storm in 15 years. At the same time, heavy snow develops on the northern edge. This isn't a light, fluffy snow. This is wet, heavy snow that weighs down power lines and tree branches already coated in ice. It's a double threat that utility companies dread. Here's something crucial I need you to understand about Saturday evening's timeline. As the system moves across Mississippi, Alabama, northern Georgia, and into the Carolinas, it is carrying both ice and heavy snow simultaneously. Tennessee and Kentucky sit right in that transition zone. Some neighborhoods will get buried in snow. Others, just miles away, will face devastating ice accumulation. By Sunday, the Mid-Atlantic region faces a full-blown winter storm. Heavy snow on the northern side, freezing rain and sleet on the southern side. And here's the kicker that makes this different from typical winter weather: the brutal cold air mass that follows. Normally, after an ice storm, temperatures rise within a day or two, melting begins, and recovery starts. Not this time. The cold air behind this system is so entrenched, so persistent, that ice and snow will remain on the ground for days. Roads will stay impassable. Power lines coated in ice won't shed their load. This is why we're looking at potential multi-day, possibly week-long power outages across the South. The national blend of models, which averages multiple forecasting systems, shows unanimous agreement. This is rare. When different models converge on the same solution, confidence increases dramatically. They are all showing a massive impact zone from the south-central United States through the southeast and up into the northeast. Let me walk you through the snowfall forecast because these numbers are staggering for regions that rarely see winter weather. The European model shows widespread 6 inches to 12 inches across the south. Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, these aren't places equipped to handle a foot of snow. Schools close, businesses shut down, highways become parking lots. But look at where the heaviest band sets up. Oklahoma and Kansas, Missouri and Arkansas, right through that corridor, models show potential for 12 to 24 inches. That 2 feet of snow in places where 6 inches is considered a major event. Now remember, directly south of this heavy snow band, that S where the freezing rain concentrates. Picture a line from northern Texas through Oklahoma straight across to the Carolinas. Above that line, heavy snow. Below that line, catastrophic ice. And Tennessee and Kentucky, you are sitting right on that line, which means you could get both. The mid-Atlantic forecast is equally concerning. Virginia, West Virginia, Delmarva Peninsula, you are looking at 12 inches to potentially 2 feet of snow as this coastal low-pressure system strengthens. When storms intensify off the Atlantic coast, they pull in more moisture, they generate heavier precipitation rates, and they create bigger impact zones. The latest GFS run from midnight brought the track slightly further south into Texas, but watch what happens next. That low-pressure system off the East Coast, it's rapidly intensifying, a process called bombogenesis in meteorological terms. This intensification pumps more moisture into the cold air mass, creating heavier snowfall rates across Virginia and surrounding areas. The 6 a.m. model run this morning showed a stronger temperature gradient. What does that mean in plain English? More areas will see freezing rain instead of snow across the south-central region. But the mid-Atlantic impact zone, still showing a very strong signal for heavy snow and moderate to high impacts, multiple models tell the same story. The Canadian model shows the system continuously interacting with optimal temperatures for frozen precipitation. It brings snow all the way across the region with freezing rain on the southern edge. The Canadian model is particularly good at capturing ice storm scenarios, and what it's showing should concern everyone in the impact zone. Let's talk about ice accumulation specifically, because this is where the danger multiplies. Even if these forecasts are overdone, even if actual ice accumulation ends up being just 1/4 inch, that still damaging ice. That still power outages. Tree branches snap, power lines come down, transformers fail, but if we see 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch of ice, like some models suggest, that crippling ice. That long-term power outages we are talking about. Days, possibly weeks in some rural areas. This is why I am urging you to prepare now, not wait until Friday when stores are packed and supplies are gone. Interstate 10 across the south, plan on it being impassable. The freezing rain forecast shows the highest ice accumulation right along that corridor. Bridges ice first. Overpasses become skating rinks. Even with four-wheel drive, even with experience, you cannot drive safely on ice this thick. The ensemble forecast models, which run the same model dozens of times with slightly different starting conditions, show remarkable consistency. When you see all 25 or 30 ensemble members painting the same picture, that is a strong signal. They were all showing that line from northern Texas through Oklahoma, across Arkansas, through Tennessee, and into the Carolinas. All that pink on these maps, that's 6 inches to 12 inches of snow. Immediately south of that pink area, sleet and freezing rain. The trend is becoming clear across all modeling systems. This is not an outlier forecast from one rogue model. This is consensus. If you live in Oklahoma, southern Kansas, northern Texas, southern Missouri, Arkansas, northern Louisiana, across Tennessee, northern Mississippi, all the way to North Carolina and Virginia, listen carefully. Here's your action plan, and you need to execute it today. Stock up on bread, milk, and non-perishable food items. Assume you might be without power for 3 to 7 days. If you have a generator, make sure you have fuel. Gas stations lose power too, and you can pump gas without electricity. Fill up your vehicles, fill up gas cans, do it today. Water is critical. If your home loses power, your well pump stops working if you are on well water. Even municipal water systems can fail during extended outages. Store at least 1 gallon per person per day for 7 days. That's the minimum. Medications. If you or family members take prescription medications, make sure you have adequate supply. This storm hits Friday into Saturday. If you redo for a refill next week, get it today. Battery-powered radio, flashlights, extra batteries. Your cell phone will die. Cell towers may lose backup power after 24 to 48 hours. You need alternative ways to get emergency information. Know where your emergency shelters are located. Many communities open warming centers during extended power outages. Find out now where they are and how to get there. Roads will be dangerous, so plan your route in advance. Now let me show you the temperature forecast, because this is what makes this storm particularly dangerous. Friday morning, as the system builds across Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, it's bringing snow, freezing rain, and punishing wind chills. The northern tier of the United States will feel like minus 40 to minus 50 degrees. That extreme cold starts pushing south. By Saturday, as the storm moves across the south-central region into Mississippi and Alabama, those negative wind chills dive south with it. Look at how deep this cold penetration goes. This Arctic air mass is unusually strong, unusually persistent. Areas that typically see winter temperatures in the 30s and 40s, you're looking at teens for actual temperature and single digits for wind chill. Sunday brings no relief. As the storm exits across the mid-Atlantic, freezing temperatures blanket the entire region. If the timing aligns perfectly, this produces heavy snow. If the track shifts slightly, it means more freezing rain with those brutal temperatures right behind it. Either way, the south-central region just experienced heavy precipitation, potentially freezing rain, ice, and snow. Now it's frozen solid on the ground. This ice isn't going anywhere Monday either. Temperatures stay below freezing. Wind chills across the south feel like single digits. Roads remain impassable. Power lines stay down. This is the scenario that emergency managers prepare for but hope never happens. Monday, even as the storm system moves offshore, all that frozen precipitation stays locked in place. The wind chills persist. Recovery efforts can begin when temperatures stay this low. Repair crews can fix power lines safely when wind chills create frostbite conditions in minutes. Let me be direct about something. This is going to be stressful, especially for those of you in the South. Your infrastructure isn't built for this. Roads will be undrivable, not for hours, but for days. Power outages could persist for a week or more in some areas. This is not like a summer thunderstorm that knocks out power for a few hours. This is a serious, long-duration event. The pattern that's setting up, we haven't seen this configuration in years. The cold air source from Canada, the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, the track of the low-pressure system, it's all coming together in the worst possible way. When meteorologists see this setup, alarm bells go off. Some of you are thinking they always overpredict winter storms. It never ends up as bad as they say. Listen, I understand that skepticism, but this is different. This isn't one model showing a worst-case scenario. This is every model, every ensemble member, every forecasting system pointing to the same outcome. The ice is the primary concern, but don't overlook the snow totals either. 12 to 24 inches of snow in Oklahoma, that is climate scale stuff. That's top 5 snowstorms in recorded history for some locations. The same goes for Arkansas, northern Mississippi, areas of Tennessee. These snowfall totals are extraordinary for these latitudes. What should you do if you lose power? First, layer up. Multiple thin layers trap heat better than one thick layer. Hats are critical. You lose 30% of body heat through your head. Keep bedrooms closed off except the ones you're reusing. Congregate family members in one room to share body heat. If you have a fireplace, use it, but never burn anything other than proper firewood. Do not use your oven or stove to heat your home. Carbon monoxide poisoning kills people during every winter storm emergency. If you must use a generator, run it outside at least 20 feet from your home. Carbon monoxide is odorless, colorless, and deadly. Every winter, people die from running generators in garages or near windows. Check on elderly neighbors. People over 65 are particularly vulnerable during extended cold exposure. If they lose power and can stay warm, they need to go to a shelter. Don't wait until someone is showing signs of hypothermia. The southern states face a unique challenge here. Up north, people are accustomed to winter storms. They have the clothing, the emergency supplies, the mental preparation. In the south, a lot of people don't own heavy winter coats. They don't have insulated boots. They're not prepared because they've never needed to be prepared. This storm is going to test communities in ways they haven't been tested in decades. But here's what I know about southern communities. You look out for each other. You check on neighbors. You share resources. That community spirit is going to be essential over the next 7 to 10 days. Schools will close, businesses will shut down, government offices will be inaccessible. Plan for that now. If you work from home, you might not have internet. If your kids are in school, they'll be home. Make arrangements today. The timing is particularly challenging because this hits going into the weekend. Emergency supplies you might normally pick up Friday after work, the stores could already be stripped bare. Friday morning could be too late if roads deteriorate quickly. This is why I'm urging action today, Wednesday. You have a 48-hour window to prepare properly. Let's talk about the recovery timeline because I want you to have realistic expectations. After the storm passes Sunday into Monday, temperatures stay below freezing through at least Tuesday, possibly into next Wednesday. That means ice and snow remain on the ground. Roads can be cleared effectively when precipitation is frozen solid. Power restoration takes longer in ice storms than any other weather event. In a summer thunderstorm, crews identify the problem, fix the line, power returns in hours. In an ice storm, crews have to wait for ice to melt off lines before they can work safely. Trees are down on roads, blocking access to damaged infrastructure. It's a cascading problem that takes days to resolve. Rural areas always take longest to restore. Urban centers get priority because that's where the most people live. If you in a rural location on well water, you need to be prepared for extended outage. That means water storage is absolutely critical for you. Some areas might consider mandatory evacuations, particularly for vulnerable populations. If officials issue evacuation orders, take them seriously. They don't issue those lightly. They issue them when staying in place becomes more dangerous than leaving. After the storm passes, resist the urge to go out and see the damage. Every winter storm, injuries spike from people falling on ice, from carbon monoxide poisoning, from hypothermia. Stay inside unless absolutely necessary. When you do venture out, assume every surface is ice. Walk like a penguin. Small, shuffling steps. Be a hero. Comment below with your location, your city and state, and I'll provide you with specific forecast details for your exact area. The general forecast I've given you covers a huge region, but local details matter. Elevation makes a difference. Proximity to water bodies affects temperatures. Microclimates exist everywhere. Tell me where you are, and I'll dial in the forecast for your specific location. This storm system, this pattern, it's not something we see often. The last time we saw this level of ice storm potential across the South was probably 2007, maybe 2009 in some regions. Those storms knocked out power for weeks in some communities, caused hundreds of millions of dollars in damage. And this setup looks similar, possibly worse. The atmospheric dynamics at play here are textbook perfect storm conditions. You have Gulf moisture streaming north, you have Arctic air plunging south, you have a developing coastal low that's going to intensify rapidly. When these three elements come together like this, bad things happen. As Friday approaches, I'll be updating constantly with narrower timing windows, more specific snowfall and ice accumulation forecasts, and clearer pictures of where that critical rain-snow ice line sets up. That line is everything. 10 miles one direction, you get all snow. 10 miles the other direction, all ice. That's the forecast challenge we face. But regardless of where that exact line falls, everyone from Texas to the Carolinas needs to take this seriously. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. That is the only sensible approach when facing a storm system this significant. The cold blast behind this system is equally important to understand. It's not just about Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The Arctic air mass settles in for extended stay. Next week, as temperatures could run 10 to 20 degrees below normal across the entire eastern United States, heating bills are going to spike. Energy demand is going to surge. If the power grid is already stressed from storm damage, that adds another layer of concern. One more critical point about this storm. The weight of ice and snow on trees causes massive tree damage across the South. Southern trees, many of them still have leaves. They were not dormant like northern trees in winter. When ice coats leaves and branches, the weight becomes unbearable. Trees snap. They fall on homes, on cars, on power lines. The damage can be catastrophic. If you have trees near your home, there's not much you can do at this point to prevent damage. But you can prepare for the aftermath. Know where trees might fall. Move vehicles away from large trees if possible. Park under trees during the storm. Identify the safest rooms in your home, interior rooms away from large trees. The economic impact of this storm will be measured in billions. Lost productivity, infrastructure damage, emergency response costs, power restoration expenses. Agriculture takes a hit too. Livestock need protection from extreme cold. Citrus crops in the deep south face freeze damage. The ripple effects spread far beyond just the immediate storm impact. Insurance companies are going to be overwhelmed with claims. If you have damage, document everything with photos before you clean up. Keep receipts for emergency supplies, generator fuel, hotel stays if you evacuate. All of that may be reimbursable under your homeowner's policy, but you need documentation. This is also a good reminder to review your insurance coverage. Do you have adequate coverage for extended power outage? Some policies cover spoiled food in refrigerators and freezers. Some don't to know what you have before you need it. For those of you who are saying, I'll just wait it out, I've been through winter storms before, I get it. But this is not a typical winter storm for the South. This is multiple hazards combining. Ice, snow, extreme cold, extended duration. Each element individually is manageable. All of them together creates a crisis situation. The forecast confidence is high. The timing might shift by a few hours. The exact location of heaviest snow or worst ice might move 50 miles one way or another, but the overall pattern, the big picture, that S locked in. This storm is happening. The only questions left are the precise details. I'll be here all week with updates. Every 12 hours as new model data comes in, I'll analyze it and bring you the latest information. Bookmark this channel. Turn on notifications. Share this with friends and family in the impact zone. The more people who see this information and prepare accordingly, the fewer emergencies we'll face. Remember, emergency services will be overwhelmed. 911 response times will be delayed. Ambulances can to reach you on ice-covered roads. That's why preparation is so critical. You need to be self-sufficient for 72 hours minimum, preferably a week. Stock your medicine cabinet too, basic first aid supplies, pain relievers, any prescription medications. If someone gets hurt and you can get to a hospital easily, you need to handle basic medical care at home. Pet owners, don't forget your animals. They need food, water, and shelter from extreme cold too. Bring pets inside. Make sure you have adequate pet food. Livestock need windbreaks, extra feed, access to unfrozen water. That means checking water sources multiple times per day when it's this cold. This storm will test everyone in the impact zone. It will be inconvenient at minimum, potentially dangerous at worst. But communities that pull together, that check on neighbors, that share resources, those communities come through events like this stronger than before. I want to emphasize one more time. Comment with your location. Tell me where you live. I am here to help dial in the forecast for your specific area. General forecasts help, but local details save lives. The more specific I can be about your neighborhood, your town, your county, the better prepared you'll be. In the coming days, stay tuned for my next update where I'll reveal the exact timing hour by hour, the most dangerous time periods, and which areas face the highest risk of catastrophic ice accumulation. The information I'll share could determine whether you without power for 2 days or 2 weeks. This is the kind of weather event that people remember for years afterward. Where were you during the ice storm of 2025? What did you do to prepare? How did your community respond? Those stories start being written right now with the decisions you make today. Please take this seriously. Share this information. Help others prepare. Together, we'll get through this. Let me give you some additional specifics that just came through on the latest data runs. The temperature profiles we're seeing are actually trending even colder in some areas. Parts of Arkansas and Tennessee could see wind chills approach -10 to -15 degrees. For context, that's colder than many Alaska locations at the same time. That's how anomalous this Arctic outbreak truly is. The precipitation amounts are also trending higher. Some models now show liquid equivalent precipitation of 1.5 to 2 inches across the impact zone. Liquid equivalent means if all that frozen precipitation melted, it would equal that much rainfall. When you convert that to snow using a typical 10-to-1 ratio, that is 15 to 20 inches. But remember, this is heavy, wet snow in many areas, so ratios might be closer to 8-to-1 or even 6-to-1. That's why we're seeing these massive snowfall totals. For the ice, liquid equivalent of 0.5 inch to 1 inch means significant ice accumulation. Ice is basically 1-to-1 ratio. 0.5 inch of liquid equals roughly 0.5 inch of ice coating. That's devastating. Power infrastructure cannot handle that weight, especially when combined with wind gusts of 20 to 30 miles per hour. Speaking of wind, that's another element we haven't fully discussed yet. This system brings strong winds, particularly on Sunday, as the coastal low intensifies. Wind gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour are possible along the coast and in elevated areas. Combine that with ice-coated trees and power lines, it's a recipe for widespread, long-lasting power outages. The snow-to-liquid ratios vary dramatically across the impact zone. In the coldest areas with the lightest, fluffiest snow, we might see 15 or even 20 to 1 ratios. That means 1 inch of liquid equals 20 inches of snow. In slightly warmer areas with heavy, wet snow, ratios drop to 6 or 8 to 1. This variability makes exact snowfall forecasting challenging, but the trends are clear. Significant accumulation everywhere in the snow zone. If you were wondering whether to travel during this storm, the answer is simple. .THE cancel plans. Postpone trips. It's not worth the risk. Even experienced winter drivers from northern states struggle with ice. Four-wheel drive doesn't help on ice. All-wheel drive doesn't help on ice. Nothing helps on ice except staying off the roads. Airlines are already preparing for massive cancellations. If you have flights scheduled Friday through Monday in the impact zone, check your airline's rebooking policies now. Get ahead of the rush. Airports in Dallas, Oklahoma City, Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, Charlotte, they all going to experience significant disruptions. The ripple effects on air travel extend nationally too. When major hub airports shut down or severely limit operations, it affects the entire system. Flights to and from the West Coast get delayed or canceled because aircraft are out of position. Crews can get to their next assignment. The domino effect spreads across the country. For those of you with medical appointments scheduled, contact your providers now. Many will proactively reschedule patients rather than have people risk dangerous travel. If you have a critical medical procedure, discuss contingency plans with your healthcare team today. Schools are going to close. That essay given. But what about the following week? If power outages persist, if roads stay impassable, schools could be closed for an extended period. Parents who work outside the home need backup childcare plans. Remote workers need to prepare for kids being home while trying to work, possibly without reliable internet if power is out. The business impact extends beyond just storm days too. When this much of the country shuts down simultaneously, supply chains get disrupted. Trucks can deliver goods, warehouses close, manufacturing facilities go offline. Even after roads clear and power returns, it takes days for normal operations to resume. One aspect of preparation people often overlook: cash. If power is out, credit card machines don't work. ATMs don't work. You need physical cash for emergency purchases. Withdraw enough cash today to cover a week of essential needs. $200 to $300 per household is a reasonable amount. Think about your heating system too. If you have natural gas or propane heat, it'll keep running during a power outage, but the blower fan needs electricity. Your home won't heat properly without the fans circulating air. That's where generators or alternative heating sources become critical. If you have a generator, test it today. Make sure it runs. Check the oil. Verify you have enough fuel. For those without generators who lose power, the safest room in your home is usually an interior bathroom or closet. Small spaces are easier to keep warm using body heat and candles. But never use candles unsupervised, and never sleep with candles burning. House fires during winter storms are tragically common. The psychological aspect of extended power outages shouldn't be underestimated either. It's stressful, especially for children. No TV, no internet, no video games. Prepare some offline entertainment. Board games, books, cards, craft supplies. Keep kids occupied and distracted from the stress adults are feeling. Charge every electronic device you own before the storm. Phones, tablets, laptops, portable battery banks, everything. When power goes out, those charged devices are your link to emergency information and communication with family. Use them sparingly. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Reduce screen brightness. Make those batteries last. For well water users, fill bathtubs before the storm. That water can be used for flushing toilets if power is out for extended periods. It's not drinking water unless you treat it, but it serves important household purposes. Also fill large pots and containers with drinking water. If you take medications that need refrigeration, talk to your pharmacist today about options if power is out for a week. Some medications can survive brief periods at room temperature, others cannot. Get specific guidance for your specific medications. The elderly and those with chronic health conditions face the highest risk during events like this. If you care for aging parents or relatives, make sure they re-prepared. Better yet, consider having them stay with you through the storm if their home is more vulnerable to power loss or if they live alone. Comment below with where you live. Tell me your city and state. I'll give you the most up-to-date, specific forecast for your exact location. Don T, just lurk and watch. Engage, ask questions. Get the information you need to make the best decisions for you and your family. I am here to help. That's what this community is about. We look out for each other, stay safe.